সো আজকের যে সেশন আছে এটা বেসিক্যালি 2022-এর এসএসসি জেইর কিছু কোশ্চেন নিয়ে ঠিক আছে, অ্যাপ্রক্স 50 to 70 কোশ্চেন্সের কাছাকাছি আছে। নেক্সট डायरेक्ट सेशन में चलते हैं। अकॉर्डिंग टू द लेंजिस लॉ व्हिच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग आर द पैरामीटर्स ऑफ कॉज एंड इफेक्ट द रेस्पेक्टिवली। सो लेंजिस लॉ কি বলেছে -n ইন্টু d5 বাই dt। So magnetic options are the magnetic field and the motion of the conductor, change of flux and induced EMF, motion of the conductor and the magnetic field and the induced EMF and change of flux. So here the answer is the option B, change of flux and induced EMF. So देख लेते हैं ये जो लेंजिस लॉ फॉर्मूला है, EMF is equal to -n into d5 by dt, where n is the number of loops, that is the number of turns, and phi, that is the change of magnetic flux, and t is equal to change of time. Next one, Lenz's law applications: eddy current balances, metal detectors, eddy currents, dynamometers, braking systems on train, AC generators, car readers and microphones. Next one, in dynamically reduced EMF the stationary part and the rotating part are, क्या होता है डायनामिकली इंड्यूस्ड EMF में क्या होता है देख लो। पहले तो ये जान लो जो डायनामिकली इंड्यूस्ड EMF क्या होता है, स्टैटिकली इंड्यूस्ड EMF, द EMF is induced whenever a conductor is placed in the magnetic field of the another conductor without the having any relative motion. It does not contain any moving part. Here the option B is the right answer, magnetic field and conductor। ठीक है, देख लो यहाँ पर लिखा हुआ है जनरेटर वर्क्स ऑन द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ द डायनामिकली इंड्यूस्ड EMF and conductors। नेक्स्ट वन, which of the following motors is used in the application of the biomedical instruments used for the artificial heart pumping? That is the BLDC motor, means that is the brushless DC motor. BLDC motor has proven to be the reliable choice in medical applications, that is the power tools, garden equipment, scanners, robots, computers, material handling, conveyors, pumps, blowers, robotics and medical equipment. The reciprocal of the reluctance is called the permanence. Permanence is the inverse of the reluctance in a magnetic circuit. Permanence is a measure of the quantity of the magnetic flux for a number of the current turns. Next one, the working principle of the BLDC motor is the क्या होता है working principle? Lorentz force law, electromagnetic inductions, Fleming right hand rule and Fleming's left hand rule. BLDC motor क्या होता है? The working principle of the BLDC motor is based on the Lorentz force law. Option A is the right answer. Next one, the rating of a transformer is in kVA because the total loss depend on the voltage and current. The total loss depend on the current, ये तो basic है। The total losses depend on the voltage and current, that is the a transformer is a static device that transfers the energy from the one circuit to the another without change of the frequency. Voltage change कर देता है। Hysteresis loss depends on the which of the following factors? That is the square of the Steinmetz hysteresis coefficient, square of the maximum flux density, frequency of the magnetic reversals and the square of the thickness of material. প্রথমে এটা জানতে হবে যে হিস্টেরিসিস লস কি, মেনলি কি বলেছে হিস্টেরিসিসের ফর্মুলা কি আছে, W = K into V⁴x into F, is the x is equal to 1.6 is the sameness constant, depends on the times of the material. So here the answer is option C, frequency and frequency of magnetic reversal, frequency of the magnetic reversal, option C is the right answer. Eddy current loss यहाँ पर दिया हुआ है, the eddy current loss in the transformer is the I²R loss present in the core due to the production of eddy current. Next one, the single phase transformer is fed with a rated supply and operates at no load. If the core of the transformer is air core, then the waveform of steady state magnetizing current drawn from the supply would be a pure sine wave, is a steady continuous wave that provides a smooth periodic oscillation. Pure sine wave inverters are at the top of the list of functionality with the ability to run any and all equipment designed to work on a pure sine wave. That is the answer is the option A, pure sinusoidal wave. Pure sinusoid is the correct answer. Next one, the salient pole type construction is suitable for running low speed prime movers. Which of the following suits the best explanation for the above statement? Option A, such machines should have the comparatively larger rotor diameter. The air gap flux should not be affected by the rotor angle position. Such machines should have relatively small and number of poles. Such machines should have the relatively smaller rotor diameters. What is the answer? Is the option A is the right answer. Such machines should have the comparatively larger rotor diameter. तो पहले तो ये जान लो जो सिलेंडर सिंक्रोनस मशीन किसको कहते हैं किसको है. In a cylindrical synchronous machine, armature winding is on the stator and the field winding is on the rotor. They are used for the rotor for the hour for the motor poles. The air gap or minimum under the poles centers and it is the maximum between the poles are not the machinery robust. The option A is the right answer. Next one. The power factor is high in which of the following test is in the transformers? That is the open circuit test only, both open circuit and short circuit test only, and Sapner test. क्या होता है इसका आंसर? ऑप्शन सी, शॉर्ट सर्किट टेस्ट ओनली. देखो पहले तो शॉर्ट सर्किट टेस्ट क्या होता है, क्या है, लो वोल्टेज ऑफ द अराउंड 5 to 10% अप्लाई टू द हाई वोल्टेज साइड विद द हेल्प ऑफ द वैलियाक. फॉर्मूला दिया हुआ है और डायग्राम दिया हुआ है. नेक्स्ट ओपन सर्किट टेस्ट. इसका जो बेसिक्स है, ओपन सर्किट और शॉर्ट सर्किट क्यों किया जाता है? टू डिटरमाइन द इक्विवेलेंट सर्किट ऑफ द ट्रांसफॉर्मर, वोल्टेज रेगुलेशन ऑफ ट्रांसफॉर्मर एंड एफिशिएंसी ऑफ द ट्रांसफॉर्मर. नेक्स्ट वन, BH curve is also known as the magnetization curve. So what is BH curve? The BH curve also known as the magnetization curve or the hysteresis curve is a graphical representation that describes the magnetic properties of a material and it shows the relationship between the magnetic field strength H and the magnetic flux density B of a material. Next one, the EMF induced only when there is the moving conductor links with the magnetic flux, stationary conductor links with the stationary magnetic flux, either magnetic flux linking with the coil changes or the moving conductor links with the magnetic flux. Here the answer is क्या होगा? Option C, either magnetic flux linking with the coil changes or the moving conductor links with the magnetic flux. Option C is the right answer. Next, a coil has the 200 turns. Find the induced EMF in it if the flux changes from 1 milliweber to 2 milliweber in 0.1 second. The induced EMF is called is equal to n d phi by dt. Minus n d phi by dt হয়, but এখানে মাইনাসটা নেয়নি. n is equal to number of turns and the d phi by dt হচ্ছে rate of change of flux. Is the n is equal to 200, d phi by dt is equal to, देख लो, ठीक है, वही आंसर है 2 volt. So next questions, a coil has 200 turns and area of 70 centimeters square. The magnetic flux perpendicular to the plane of the coil is 0.3 Weber per meter square and takes 0.1 second to rotate through the 180 degree. The value of the induced EMF will be 8.4 volt, 84 volt, 42 volt and 4.2 volt. Change of flux, that is the 2B into A into A n. There is the A for the area of the cross section and the B जो Weber का जो value है ना 0.3 Weber per meter square वही है. And so the answer is the 2 into 0.3 into 200 into 70 into 10 to the power minus 4 by 0.1. जो टाइमिंग है ना वो ले लिया है इसीलिए. सो द यहीं पे तो आंसर है. नो लोडिंग हीट run test on transformer is performed by means of the open circuit test, short circuit test, core balance sheet, Sapner test and the block rotor test. The option 4, that is the Sapner test. It is a non-loading heat run test on transformer. The maximum temperature rise in a large transformer is determined by the full load test by the measuring. So the option 4 is the right answer. That is the Sapner test. Next one, which of the following devices set events of the specific time interval? Indicator device, all type of analog devices and the recording devices, and synchronous devices. Option 4 is the synchronous device is the right answer. Said advance of specific time interval. यहाँ पर देखा ना synchronoscope. Synchronoscope is also known as the synchronous devices. That is the synchronous scope is used to measure the phase difference between the grid voltage and voltage generated by the synchronous alternator. The pointer rotates at the anti-clockwise if the machine is running slower. The pointer rotates clockwise if the machine is running fast. The pointer indicates vertically upwards if the speed is correct. Next one. A DC generator efficiency is maximum when तो सिंपल है वेरिएबल लॉस इज इक्वल टू कांस्टेंट लॉस तो कांस्टेंट लॉस इक्वल साइन का इधर आ गया तो सो वेरिएबल लॉस माइनस कांस्टेंट लॉस इज इक्वल टू 0 तो वेरिएबल लॉस इज इक्वल टू कांस्टेंट लॉस. एफिशिएंसी क्या है आउटपुट बाय इनपुट है ठीक है और आउटपुट प्लस लॉसेस वही तो है ना. कोल लॉसेस दैट इज द हिस्टेरिसिस लॉस प्लस एडी करंट लॉस एंड स्टे लॉस मैकेनिकल लॉस प्लस कोल लॉस एंड द mechanical loss is equal to the friction loss of the bearing and friction loss at a commutator and the windage loss all होता है ना. current at maximum efficiency full load current into root of constant loss by full load copper loss. Next, the detrimental effects of armature reaction can be controlled by increasing the length of air gap using commutating poles, increasing the cross section of the pole pieces. Options are only 1 2 3. That is the here the correct answer क्या है using commutating poles and the increasing the cross section of the poles. Option 3 2 and 3 right answer होगा. Additional information, what is the armature reaction? When the armature of DC machine carries current, the distributed armature winding produces its own EMF known as the armature reaction. When the armature of DC machine carrying current, the distributed armature winding produces its own EMF. Effects of the armature reactions, cross magnetization, distortion of the air gap flux, therefore sparking at the brushes, demagnetization, reduction of net flux. Next one, यहाँ पर the compensating winding भी दिया हुआ है and interpoles भी दिया हुआ है. Interpoles are similar to the main field. Just have the function of reducing the armature reaction effect in the commutating zone. They eliminate the need to shaft the brass assembly. Assertion and reasons for the separately excited generators are used in what Leonard system of speed control, but self-excited are not. That is the reason is the self-excitation is unsuitable at lower voltage, that is the H current, but R is not a suitable reason for it. That is the option 3 H current and R is the suitable reason for it. Option 3 is the right answer. Next one, the what Leonard method of the speed control is achieved by the varying the applied voltage of the armature. Combine the together as called the stray losses. So what is the stray loss? That is the option 3 iron and mechanical loss is equal to stray loss. Okay. Eddy current loss, the current which is circulating in nature and induces because of the relative motion between the magnetic field and conductor is known as the eddy current. Hysteresis the loss in the form of the heat when the magnetism of the material is made to the alternate with respect to the time. The current drawn by a 220 volt DC motor of armature resistance 0.5 ohm and back EMF of the 180 volt is the 80 ampere. How it is the concept? In a DC generator, generated EMF given by DC shunt में क्या है बैक EMF is equal to V minus armature current into armature resistance. So the calculation, that is the EB equal to V minus IARA. That is the answer is the 8. ठीक है. DC shunt मोटर में है और DC shunt generator में है. कुछ क्या प्रॉब्लम है वो भी देखना पड़ेगा. Next one, the function of the dummy coils in DC machines is to what is the option 3 that is the mechanically balance the armature, improve commutation, reduce machine cost and mechanically balance the armature and increasing efficiency. Option 3 mechanically balance the armature is the right answer. Dummy coils, the wave winding is possible only with the number of conductor or coils. Okay. Next, a capacitor start motor among single phase induction motors has a high starting torque, low efficiency, low power factor and the highest power factor. High starting torque है ठीक है. नेक्स्ट वन, टाइप ऑफ द इंडक्शन मोटर शेडेड पोल मोटर में क्या होता है लो स्टार्टिंग टॉर्क प्लस लो पावर फैक्टर Capacitor start high starting torque but medium power factor. Capacitor run motor medium starting torque, highest power factor, and the split run motor low starting torque and low power factor. Advantage of the capacitor run induction motor: a centrifugal switch is not required, it has a high efficiency, it has a low power factor, it has a higher pull out torque. Limitations: there is the electrolytic capacitors cannot be used for continuous running, therefore paper spaced oil filled capacitors are used. It has relatively low starting torque compared to the capacitor start induction motor. Next one, running the machine at no load is not recommended for an induction motor, DC shunt motor, synchronous motor, and DC series motor. Option 4, that is also DC series motor. This is the right answer. DC series motor should always be started with load because at no load it will rotate with dangerously high speed. Next one, three-phase wound rotor motors are commonly called as the slip ring motors. Three-phase wound rotor motors are commonly called the slip ring motors. Additional adding external resistance of the rotor. ठीक है. Next one, this motor is only applicable to the WRIM. WRIM means that is the wound rotor induction motor. স্লিপ রিং ইন্ডাকশন মোটর আর স্কুইরেল কেজ ইন্ডাকশনের মধ্যে কিছু এখানে ডিফারেন্স দেওয়া আছে. ইট ইজ এ স্লিপ রিং টাইপ মোটর, ইট ইজ এ স্কুইরেল কেজ টাইপ রোটার. ঠিক আছে. সিলিন্ড্রিক্যাল ল্যামিনেটেড স্কুল, কনস্ট্রাকশন ইজ কমপ্লিকেটেড, কনস্ট্রাকশন ইজ সিম্পল. দ্য রোটার রেজিস্ট্যান্সটা স্টার্টিং ইজ হাই, power factor is low, power factor is high. The magnetic flux path in a transformer must have low reluctance. এটা তো জানা কোশ্চেন. ট্রান্সফর্মার ম্যাগনেটিক ফ্লাক্স এর লো রিলাক্টেন্স হয়. ঠিক আছে. Next one, it can raise or the lower the voltage as a step on step down. It is a simplest in consider two inductive coils which are the electrically separated but magnetically linked. Electrically separated but magnetically linked through a path of the low reluctance. Next one, the first coil in which the electric energy is fed from the AC supply mains is called the primary winding, and the other from which energy is drawn out is called the secondary winding. In brief, a transformer is a device that transfers electric power from one circuit to another. It does so without change of frequency. It accomplishes this by Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. A washing machine generally employs a dash motor. That is the option 2, resistance split phase motor. That is the split phase motor applications. That is the देख लो split phase motor का small drill presses and the soft grinders, small belt driven conveyors, washing machines. कुछ है यहाँ पर. Threaded pull motors, hair dryers, toys, record players, small fans, electric clocks. Hysteresis motor, tape recorder, signaling and टाइमिंग डिवाइसेस. मोटर में क्या है? डीसी सीरीज मोटर, ट्रैक्शन सिस्टम, क्रेन्स, एयर कंप्रेसर्स, डीसी शंट मोटर्स, लेथ मशीन, सेंट्रीफ्यूगल पंप्स, ब्लोअर्स, कन्वेयर्स, वेविंग मशीन एंड स्पिनिंग मशीन. डीसी कंपाउंडेड मोटर, प्रेसेस, shears, elevators, rolling mills and the stepper motor, 3D printing equipment, small robotics, CNC milling machines. ठीक है. Next, a three-phase induction motor is running at 4% slip. If the input to the rotor is the 1000 watt, then the mechanical power developed by the motor will be 960 watt. The 1 is to S is to 1 minus S. S is equal to 4%, 0.04. This is the from the above concept. Here the calculation है. Which of the following statements true? DC supply cannot be used for the transformer. The transformer works on the principle of the mutual induction. Both are the true. Option 2 is the right answer. Mutual induction क्या होता है? By change in the current in a circuit that is the link to the another by the flux lines of the magnetic field. This is the basic principle of the mutual induction. Next, the torque developed by a motor while running at the 1500 rpm, 1500 rpm is the 206 Newton meter. The shaft torque available is the 200 Newton meter. The iron and mechanical loss in water 300, 250, 150 and 500. That is the input power minus armature loss is equal to developed power, and developed power minus equal to minus iron plus mechanical losses is equal to shaft power. Calculation: 305, that is the calculation that they are given, and the T shaft and the iron and the mechanical loss PD minus P shaft, that is the answer. Torque developed by a motor while running at the 1000 rpm is 106 newton meter. The shaft torque available is the 100 newton meter. Then the iron and the mechanical losses in watts are, that is the 205. Here the concept, that is the torque developed by the motor of the shaft is given by the T shunt is equal to P shunt by shaft. Shunt means shaft. T that is the shaft torque or the output torque, and the shaft power or the output power, and the angular frequency. And here is the calculation. 205 watt. Next one. In a single phase induction motor, the auxiliary and running windings are spaced electrical at 90 degree. Option A is the right answer. 90 degree electrically apart. देख लो. The auxiliary running windings are the spaced 90 degree electrically apart. This phase difference produces the starting torque and the motor starts rotating. The coil of shaded pole induction of induction a single phase induction motor is highly क्या होगा इंडक्टिव होगा. ठीक है. The shaded pole induction motor is simply a self starting single phase induction motor whose one of the poles is shaded by the copper ring. The copper ring is also called the shaded ring. The shaded ring is highly inductive in nature. This copper ring acts as a secondary winding for the motors. An 8 kilowatt 4 pole 220 volt 50 Hz reluctance motor has the torque angle of 30 degree when operating under rated load conditions. Calculate the load torque. That is the option B. Load torque is equal to 51 Newton meter. Here the solution. P is equal to 4, frequency F is equal to 50 Hz, power 8000 watt, this is synchronous speed, angular speed, and the torque. Next one. If there is no same voltage ratio while conducting the parallel operation of three-phase transformers, then it produces leakage flux and hysteresis, circulating current, and the leakage flux and the magnetic hysteresis. क्या होगा इसका? देख लो जो necessary जो conditions है ना, if the voltage ratio are not the same, then the secondaries will not show the same voltage even if the primaries are connected to the same voltage supply. As a result of this, a current circulates in the secondaries and hence there will also be circulating currents on the primary side. Due to this, a considerable amount of the current is drawn by the transformers even without the load. So इसका आंसर क्या होगा? इसका जो आंसर होगा ये होगा लीकेज फ्लक्स एंड हिस्टेरिसिस, सर्कुलेटिंग करंट, लीकेज फ्लक्स एंड द मैग्नेटिक हिस्टेरिसिस. सर्कुलेटिंग करंट इसका जो आंसर है. ठीक है, इसको मैं चेक करके बता दूंगा फिर कहीं अगली वीडियो पे. नेक्स्ट की तरफ चलते हैं. Why transformers connected in the parallel should have the same voltage ratio to avoid the no load circulating current. उसका आंसर सर्कुलेटिंग करंट ही होगा. Necessary conditions for the parallel operation of the transformers. Voltage rating mentioned on the nameplate of the transformers to be connected on the parallel must be the same. Means of the primaries of all transformed must have the same magnitude of line voltage. Desirable conditions for parallel operation of the transformers. The voltage ratios of the transformers to be connected in parallel should be the same to avoid the circulating currents. Which of the following losses increases due to the improper lubrication? आयरन लॉस, विंडेज लॉस, कॉपर लॉस एंड द फ्रिक्शन लॉस. तो क्या होगा पहले? ऑप्शन डी. क्या है यहाँ पर? फ्रिक्शन लॉस है तो वही होगा. नेक्स्ट वन. उसका आंसर सर्कुलेटिंग करंट ही होगा। इसका आंसर है ऑप्शन डी, दैट इज द फ्रिक्शन लॉस। द इंपॉर्टेंट ट्रांसफॉर्मर लॉसेज आर द हिस्टेरेसिस लॉसेज, एडी करंट लॉसेज, स्टे लॉसेज, कॉपर लॉस, रेडिएटिव लॉसेज, मैकेनिकल वाइब्रेशन एंड ऑडिबल नॉइज ट्रांसमिशन। तो क्या कुछ लॉस है देख लो जरा। कॉपर लॉस इज द वेस्टेज ऑफ द पावर ड्यू टू द आइस लॉस इन द ट्रांसफॉर्मर, the energy is wasted as heat, that the eddy current occur when the conductor experiences changing magnetic flux. Next, the phenomenon of the fluorescence in the fluorescent lamp mainly occurs due to the presence of the argon, mercury, xenon and phosphorus. So what is the answer? That is the option D, phosphorus is the answer होगा, ठीक है। There is an electric current in the gas excites the mercury vapor, which produces the short wave ultraviolet light that then causes the phosphorus coating of the inside on the lamp to the glow. Next, which of the following lamps use the phenomenon of the fluorescence? Halogen lamps, neon lamps, the sodium vapor lamps and the fluorescent lamps. The option 4 is the fluorescent lamps. A fluorescent lamp basically consists of the long glass gas discharge tube. Its inner surface is coated with the phosphorus and is filled with the inert gas, generally argon, with a trace of mercury. नेक्स्ट और भी बहुत सारा कुछ दिया है इन्फॉर्मेशन। एज इलेक्ट्रॉन्स रिटर्न टू द बेसिकली जो वर्किंग प्रिंसिपल है ना वही दिया हुआ है। नेक्स्ट वन, द फ्लोरेसेंट इज ए कन्वर्सन फ्रॉम ऑफ द यूवी रेडिएशन वाया फॉस्फर पाउडर ऑन द इनसाइड of the tube to visual light or rather light in the spectrum that the human eye can perceive. Once the conduction of electrons between the electrodes is complete, more heating of the filaments is required and the whole system works at a much lower current. A Francis tube is used for. Why Francis tube is used? That is the option C, low to medium heads. Option C, low to medium heads is the right answer. Francis tube embraces a radial flow runner in which the water strikes the runner blades radially and departs axially along its axis through a draft tube. The Francis turbine is a mixed flow type turbine in which the water passes through the curved guide vanes and the creating a high curved rotating flow at the outlet. The Francis turbine represents a remarkable combination of the impulse and the reaction turbine principles. Advantages: the high efficiency in low water head and high flow rate conditions, and the versatility for various water head and the flow rate scenarios, compact size and ease of installation, ability to adjust runner blades for optimized performance, utilizes the renewable energy sources for clean electricity generation, well suited for run of the river installations, adaptable to existing water control structures and dams, reduce environmental impact compared to the fossil fuel based power generation, long operation life with proper maintenance. Francis tube disadvantages: the limited application in high head scenarios compared to the Pelton turbines, and higher complexity and maintenance requirements compared to the some other turbine types. Francis tube applications are hydroelectricity generation in medium head range, dams and reservoirs for irrigation and flood control, water supply systems for municipal and industrial use, renewable energy projects to reduce carbon footprint. Aspects that is the Francis tube আছে আর Kaplan tube আছে, type, reaction type and the impulse turbine. Applications দেওয়া আছে runner design, flow control, efficiency, speed regulation, runner blade design, runner shape, water head range, power output, generator configuration, use of draft tube and application scope. Type of head, that is the low head turbine that operates in the head range of fewer than 45 meters, medium head turbine working range for heads of 45 to 250 meter, and high head turbines works in the head range of higher than 250 meter, and Pelton turbine generally operates in this range. Stringing chart represents a graph of sag and tensions versus temperature. Option A is the right answer. Sag and tensions versus temperature. Stinging charge. The stinging charge represents the graph of the. Next क्या है, as we want low tension and the minimum sag in our conductor, but that is not possible as sag is inversely proportional to the tension. It is because the low sag means a tight wire and the high tension wire as the low tension means a loose wire and increased sag. Therefore we make a compromise between the two, but if the case of the temperature is considered and we drew the graph, then the graph is called a stringy chart. Next one. Which of the following methods of lighting calculation can be used for the rough calculation and the checking purposes? The watt per square meter method. Yes, option C is the right answer. Next one. Solar PV cell can produce DC current, direct current. Option D is the right answer. Photovoltaic cells generate the direct current electricity. DC electricity can be used to the charge batteries that power devices that use the direct current electricity. Nearly all electricity is supplied as alternating current in electricity transmission and distribution system. Which of the following is not the important outcome of the estimation? It gives the approximate budget. It helps to the use correct material. It avoids wastage of materials. It gives quality management systems. ऑप्शन डी इज द राइट आंसर. ठीक है, ऑप्शन डी इज द राइट आंसर. नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट आउटकम. अप्रोक्सीमेट बजट इम्पोर्टेंट आउटकम है. टू करेक्ट मटेरियल, ठीक है. अवॉइड द वेस्टेज ऑफ द मटेरियल, ये भी ठीक है. लेकिन जो फोर्थ वाला है ना ऑप्शन डी, वो नहीं है. नेक्स्ट वन. एस्टिमेटिंग इज एन आर्ट by which we can get an approximation of the material, investment involved and the time to be taken for the completion of the electrical project. Purpose of the estimating and costing, it is necessary to know the necessary material, the and the cost to be the incurred before the starting the project. Which of the following statement is correct about the phase sequence of a three-phase supply? It is the order by which in which the voltages in the individual phase attains their peak value. Here the option A is the right answer. It is the order in which the voltages in the individual phase attains their peak value. Next one. For high load factor for the given maximum demand, the number of generated units. (34) D, more. Option D is the right answer, more. Load factor is equal to average demand, maximum demand, average demand. That is the number of the units generated and the total. Yes, option D is the right answer, more. Corona loss in DC transmission supply is less than AC. Option A is the right answer. That is the how a non-sinusoidal voltage drop occurs in the transmission. Non-sinusoidal voltage drop occurs in the transmission line due to non-sinusoidal current which causes interference with neighboring communication circuits due to the electromagnetic transients and electrostatic induction effects. Ozone gas is produced due to the formation of corona, which chemically reacts with the conductor and causes corrosion. The energy dissipated in the system due to the corona effect is called the corona loss. The power loss due to the corona is the undesirable and uneconomical. The efficiency of transmission line is highly reduced due to the loss of the power of energy. Next one. जो कॉर्नर लेसन है उसका फॉर्मेशन दैट इज द A+25. ठीक है, तो देख लेते हैं कैलकुलेशन. नेक्स्ट. इफ द हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिक पावर प्लांट रेटिंग 200 MVA, it currently supplies only 120 MVA, then what is the value of the hot reserve? The hot reserve or reserve capacity of a power plant is given by, that is the plant capacity minus demand capacity. Here the calculation for reserve is the 80 MVA. So option A is the right answer, 80 MVA. Next one. Two electric lamps have filaments of the same metal having the same thickness. If one of them gives the 100 watt and other gives the 500 watt across the same supply, then 100 watt lamp filament has a longer length. देख लो इसका जो कैलकुलेशन है, देखो P is equal to V square by R, सो R इक्वल टू रो इंटू एल बाई ए, बेसिक है, तो इसी को सब्स्टिट्यूट करके 100 वाट लैम्प आता है. ये भी कंपैरिजन भी करना पड़ेगा तब जाके ये होगा. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट, प्राइमरी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन इज कैरिड आउट बाई, क्या है, 3 phase 3 wire system. The primary distribution system operates at a high voltage such as the 3.3, 6.6, 1.1, 11 kV. Primary distribution is usually carried out by the 3 phase 3 wire system. Option C is the right answer. If the maximum demand is the 100 kilowatt, the load factor is 100%. Then find units generated per annum. Option C, 876 megawatt hour. Maximum demand 100 kilowatt, load factor 100% is the old. Load factor is the average load by the maximum demand. Load factor average load into time by maximum demand into time. 876 megawatt. Option C is the right answer. Which of the following is not a disadvantage of the direct laying method? Options are the localization of the fault is difficult. Heat can be dissipated easily. It cannot be used in congested areas. The maintenance cost is very high. Advantage of direct laying of power cables and the quick construction, low investments, generally shallow depth. Direct laying का. So here the answer is the what? Option B, heat can be dissipated easily. यही नहीं होगा. ठीक है. Option B is the right answer. Next one. Disadvantage of the direct laying methods, direct laying of the power cables, and the advantage of the simple and the cheap method. The heat generated in the cables is easily dissipated in the ground, and disadvantage of the alternations in the cable network are not easy. Maintenance cost is higher, and identifying the location of a fault is difficult. This method cannot be used in congested areas such as metro cities where excavations is too expensive. Direct laying procedures is as follows. If trench of the 1.5 meter deep and the 45 centimeter wide is a dark, then the trench is covered with 10 centimeter thick layer of fine sand, and the cable is laid over the sand bed. Okay. Next one. The average demand is the average of loads taking place on the power station in a given period of frequency, time, velocity and current. Option B, time is the right answer. Average demand क्या होता है? The average power requirement during some specified period of time of considerable duration is called the average demand of the installation. Maximum demand, the maximum demand of an installation is defined as the greatest of all the demand which have the occurred during a given period. Next, the demand factor, it is defined as the ratio of the actual maximum demand made by the load to the rating of the connected load. Load factor, it is defined as the ratio of the average power to the maximum demand. Maximum demand is generally connected load. D, less than the connected load. Maximum demand is generally the less than the connected load. Option D. Which of the following statements usually are true? That is the AC distribution system and DC distribution system. Option 1, in DC distribution system the voltage drop is due to the resistance only. In AC distribution system the voltage drop is due to resistance only. In AC distribution system the effect of the inductance is always neglected. Option C, only one is the right answer. That is the in DC distribution the voltage drop is due to resistance only. और कुछ नहीं होता. कैपेसिटेंस और इंडक्टेंस तो क्या होता है, वो तो एसी सर्किट में होता है, तो डीसी में तो वो सब नहीं होता ना, यही बात है। नेक्स्ट वन, एसी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सिस्टम, द एसी ट्रांसमिशन सिस्टम used for the short distance transmission. It uses the three conductor transmission. The voltage drop is due to the both resistance and inductance, ठीक है, and presence of the skin effect, voltage surge and interference with the communication lines. Repair and maintenance are easy and inexpensive. DC distribution system, the DC transmission system is used for the long distance transmission in the form of the ACB-DC. It uses two conductors for transmission. The voltage drop is due to the resistance only. The effect of the inductance is always neglected. Absence of the skin effect, voltage surge and interference with the communication line. Repair and maintenance are the difficult and expensive. Next one, the quality that describes the light giving radiant power of the luminaries in any particular direction is called the measure of the power of the emitted by the light. That is the, क्या होगा इसका आंसर, लुमिनस इंटेंसिटी होगा। ऑप्शन बी इज द राइट आंसर, लुमिनस इंटेंसिटी। नेक्स्ट वन, the annual load duration curve is straight line from 20 megawatt to 6 megawatt. Find the load factor. Here the calculation, maximum demand है, minimum demand है, hours annually 8760 और 24 into 365, that is the 8760 hours, and according to the given equation that the average demand, area under curve, that is the total hours 13 megawatt, and the percentage load factor is the 65%. A short transmission line has a length from 80 to 250 kilometers. It is the up to 80 kilometers. Option D is the right answer. Short transmission, the 80 to 250 kilometer medium transmission line, long transmission line above 250 kilometers. Short transmission line, if the product of the length I and its operating frequency of the transmission is less than the 4000, then the transmission line is known as the short transmission line. Medium and the long. Next one, the capacity factors of a plant is based on, is the B, is the plant operating frequency. That is the capacity factor of a plant is based on the plant operating frequency. Plant capacity factor, the capacity factor of a plant is based on the plant operating frequency or time duration for which it has been operated. Average demand by plant capacity, ठीक है। Reserve capacity is the plant capacity minus maximum demand. Grading of cable is done in order to C, achieve the uniform stress. Definition, grading is defined as the process of the equalizing the stress in the dielectric on the cable. Generally, the electric stress is maximum at the surface of the conductor or the innermost part of conductor, while it is the minimum at the outermost shed of the conductors. Option C is the right answer, achieve. Methods of the grading है, capacitance grading, intercept grading. The capacity is in this type of the grading, the homogeneous dielectric is replaced by the layer of the dielectric having the capacitance grading, and for getting the uniform stress an infinite number of the dielectric will be required. Intercept grading is the method of the keeping the gradual voltage across the insulator by using the layers of the insulators. In this method, the uniform voltage is developed across the cable insulators. Next, calculate the inductance of a coil that induces 150 volt when a current changes to the rate of the 3 ampere per second. That is the di by dt 3, and the VL di by dt. The answer is the 15. So option D is the right answer. Option B is the right answer. So thank you. नेक्स्ट वीडियो में मिलते हैं।